So she told Ed not to bother him anymore. Taylor then got up and suddenly asked him, "So you're still at school?" Ed was surprised to see that and thought that Taylor had revived, a fighting spirit that never wavered no matter how strong his opponent was. Taylor then came forward while calling his name. A determination was clearly seen in his eyes. Ed then realized, when he dueled with Fiona, his childhood friend and biggest encourager, Isla Triss, immediately ran out the door without looking back at all. She then immediately approached Taylor and gave him words of encouragement. With Isla by his side, Taylor would rise again and again. Taylor then asked him, why is he here and does he have something to do with him? Ed was silent for a moment. He then praised Taylor's skill in using the sword. Taylor didn't quite understand what he was talking about and asked what he was planning. Ed had gone through many experiences with Taylor, and was always with him until the end, so he decided to be honest. He then said that he didn't plan anything. Ed originally thought Taylor was the one who would save the world, so he just had to figure out how to survive. He treated him like an obedient person because he was the protagonist of this game who would do all the hard work instead of him, but at this time, he was relieved. Ed then showed a faint smile, not because the story deviated far from the original back to the original plot, but because Taylor, who had been with him for so long, was still fine. That was all he needed. Ed then left. The two of them could only stare silently at Ed's departure. The two of them then could only feel surprised and think that Ed was just acting cool. Ed couldn't avoid this. He then looked in a direction. A violent explosion was suddenly created in the place that Ed was staring at. He wondered if it was time. Originally, everyone should have watched this while sitting in the Nail Building, the battle between Golden Daughter Lortel and Spirit Sorcerer Janica Feylover, although this was in a different form from the original. But Ed was sure Taylor and Isla were watching this scene. Ed silently told Taylor to open his eyes wide, because one of the many tests that came his way was the final act. One boss, Janica Feylover, and this time the duel was won by her. The students then flocked to congratulate her on her victory. Janica was the only one from their class who won against the new students. They considered Janica to be perfect because besides having a very good personality, she was also proficient in spirit magic. Janica just smiled and thanked for that. The medical team then suddenly passed by, while the students were congratulating Janica on her victory. Janica herself was shocked when she saw Lortel's badly injured condition. Janica's gaze suddenly went blank when facing this contradictory situation, unlike in the original story. Lucy defeated Taylor, and everything ended with the main character of the combined combat training being Janica Feylover, who became the proud protector of the senior students. Janica already had a lot of friends, but this incident would make things even more troubling for her. But Ed felt that this was even better. He wouldn't meet her on cam anymore. Every time he got involved with the main characters, his head became dizzy. Time passed and it had been 2 weeks since the combined combat training. Without the main characters bothering him, Ed can really study and survive without worry. He now has a fishing net, so the matter of food is quite resolved. When Ed opens his status window, there can be seen Ed's rapid progress so far. He feels like his body is getting better, because of the increase in his stamina stat. But it was still too early to be lazy. He then stepped out of the river in a position still shirtless. But what was unexpected was, nearby there was already Janica peeping at him. Janica blushed when she saw him still shirtless. Janica then asked if he liked being naked. Ed was annoyed by her question after she suddenly appeared here. He was just fishing. After bathing in the river, Ed then lit a campfire to warm himself. Janica then asked what was so good about this place that he always came back here. Ed replied that this was like a very secret base, so he felt like an adventurer and it was fun. Janica then said that she wanted to talk to him a little, and she needed some advice too, but Janica looked a little unsure of her tone. Ed then wondered about it. Because out of so many people, why should it be him? Janica then said he had left first at that time, so maybe he didn't see it, but at the combined combat training last month, she hurt someone. Ed knew what she meant, but he still felt confused, because as far as he knew, her opponent used a medium-level spell even though it was not allowed, but it shouldn't matter to the good-hearted Janica. Janica continued. She kept trying to forget about it, but she felt that maybe at that time she was overreacting. She couldn't get rid of the thought of herself overreacting. Ed then understood. Janica then asked if she should apologize to her, but her friends would definitely stop her. They said she was wrong first, but Ed still advised Janica to apologize if she felt she had to. The fun and cheerful second-year student, Janica, was a treasure to everyone, precious from all sides, so if she felt guilty or reflected on herself, everyone would come forward to encourage her and take her side. But Janica knew that it was good to have someone different by her side no matter what, but that didn't erase the mistakes she had made. Janica felt Ed was great. He never took her side without looking at the situation first. Ed then apologized if it offended her. Janica then tried to stop him and said that he misunderstood. She was not offended at all. Janica thought, last year Ed was not someone like this. Janica is indeed a cheerful and smiling girl, but she is as considerate as the person beside her. Even when Ed asked for money when he was in trouble, he did not show the desperation that people usually show in such situations. Janica felt that this man indirectly told her not to approach, but Ed's side is like that. Janica said, it actually makes her relieved, if everyone in the world is like him. In her eyes is an unusual comfort, and the night passed quietly. The next morning, while walking to the academy, Ed thought that this is a serious problem. The failed swordman of the Sylvania is called a masterpiece, but very few people have seen the ending, especially beginners who always get bad endings at the beginning. For example, if we save a girl during a kobold invasion in a class placement test, we will see Golden Daughter's secret. She then sends someone to kidnap Taylor, and that way Taylor is then killed, in the monster killing training episode. If we skip Isla's childhood friend and form a unit with Golden Daughter, then the next scene is Isla falling off a cliff and dying. That's because Taylor was supposed to save Isla who fell off the cliff. If we protect the Golden Daughter from the fire spirit Tarkan, who was summary by Janica, then Taylor High.self will be burned to death. Those are some examples of bad endings that occur in the game. Someone then asked Ed politely if he didn't hear her. While sweating coldly, Ed thought that he should run, but the person quickly passed in front of him. Ed then asked how long she would follow him. The person did not expect Ed to grit his teeth and ignore her for that long. Ed thought, of course he would grit his teeth and ignore her. Wasn't it obvious? Because that person was the fourth heroine of the failed swordman of the Sylvania, the only daughter of the prominent business figure Eld Ketchum, Golden Daughter Lortel Ketchum, aka the newbie destroyer. Lortel then said that she wanted to borrow 2 hours of his time.
So, friends, this chapter comes to an end. What will happen next? We'll uncover it in the next chapter. Don't forget to rate this chapter out of 10 in the comments. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and goodbye. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.